how are we feeling this morning? So it's Thursday, which can mean only one thing. We're going to do some lower body and core. Principally we're going to focus on quads and glutes today, but I will mix it up a little bit, you'll see as we go along. So the first exercise that we're going to do today is a deadlift, okay? We've deadlifted before, but I'm going to recap on some of the key teaching points as we go along. Goes without saying, you want to be nice and warm before you do this workout, so hopefully you'll have done the dynamic stretches that I've set you in previous weeks. Okay, so first of all, we're going to have our feet slightly more than hip width apart, so roughly level with our shoulders. Okay, core nice and tight. We're going to come down, we're going to have our hands on the outside of our hips. Our back's going to be nice and straight, our chest up. We're going to keep that bar really close to us. And we're going to bring it up like so. Okay, keeping it really, really tight. It's a hip dominant movement. Full grip on the bar. We're going to push those hips all the way back and drop. Up nice and explosively. Push those hips all the way back. Drop. Keeping those shoulders back. Good. Squeeze that core. Keep those shoulders back, that head and that chest up. Squeeze. Just going to change my position so you can see better. Push those hips back. Hand up. Move over to the side. Keep those shoulders back. Fantastic. So that's going to be our first exercise today. Your deadlift. Do 3 sets. On a working weight, working for about 8 to 12. Okay, let's move on to the next exercise. You're going to love this one. It's a Turkish get-up. We're going to use a kettlebell for this. And you're going to start lying down on the floor, okay, with one knee bent and one leg out. So like so, you're going to have your weight directly above you, nice and straight. And the idea is to imagine that you're carrying a bucket of water, okay? So you're going to bring yourself up. And as you come up, keep it nice and straight. I'm going to bring one leg underneath you, up. Keeping that arm all the way up in the air and up. It's getting up with grace and getting back down without making this arm go floppy. All the way down, keep it straight, and down to the floor. I'm going to do a couple of these. Tuck that leg underneath you, keep that arm straight. And all the way up. Move back a bit so you can see me. Come down, tuck that leg underneath you, still keeping this arm straight. Down. And back down. Then we're going to swap arms. So this time you're going to have this leg outstretched. This one right up above you. Going to come up. Bring this leg underneath you. Keep this arm straight. Don't let it go floppy like that. Push up. All the way up. There you go. On the way back down. Here we go. Fantastic job. Keep this arm straight all the time. I'm going to make this my last one. There we go. It's a really, really good exercise for overall body stability and strength. Okay, maybe do 3 reps on each side. Have a little rest and then do another set, perhaps repeat that 3 times over. It's a tough exercise. You'll find that you won't be able to go too heavy with the weight. See how you get on, let me know. Okay, next exercise, we're going to do some pistol squats. So for this one, I'm going to need my bench. Okay, just going to move this into position. Okay. Now, if you're really good at these, you don't need a bench. I find them quite difficult. I'm going to have my hands on my hips and I'm going to bring myself down onto here and then back up again, but with one leg out. So down, push up, keep that core tight, get that leg out, and up, there we go, get my balance. Another good way of doing this actually is to attach a band and just hold, see how low you can get with just the band. But for now I'm using the bench. Okay, core tight, down we come, squeeze, up. You can really see your quads working when you do this exercise. Okay, make sure you swap legs. One out. Doing loads of unilateral exercises today. It'll help us to address any muscular imbalances that we might have in our body. Okay, so I would go for, let's say 6 to 8 reps on each leg. Have a rest in between and then repeat for 3 sets, okay? Right, next exercise, single leg RDLs or Romanian deadlifts, okay? You're gonna have a weight as your sort of counterbalance. Gonna be on one foot. Actually probably would be easier with a pair of trainers on. It's a bit difficult on this mat, but here we go. So I'm gonna have my arms straight and have the weight in this hand, and I'm gonna take this leg all the way back, like so. And up. So it's like a counterbalance. Okay, I'm just going to move to the side so you can see better. Nice big breath out on the way down. And then back up. I'm going to swap legs. Good. Test of your balance for a Thursday morning. All the way out and back up. Okay, so again, because it's a unilateral exercise and you're working one side and then the other, you know what I mean, to do them in quick succession, don't have a rest between legs, but do have a rest when you've done both, and then repeat for a second and a third set, okay? Core nice and tight, head and chest up. Gonna bring that weight all the way down, stretch all the way back, really feel that glute working, and up, okay? So that's exercise number 3. So we've done our deadlifts, we've done our pistol squats. Oh, it's 4 actually. We've done our Turkish get-ups and we've done our single leg RDLs. Okay, next one is a sumo deadlift. Lots of deadlifts today. Okay, we're going to take a nice wide stance, arms out in front of us. We're going to push those hips all the way back, all the way back. Keep that head and chest up, drop, and come up. Push those hips back. I'm going to keep the weight relatively low for this one because we've already deadlifted. Good job. Keep that head and chest up, core tight. If you don't have a barbell at your disposal as well, you could use a sumo deadlift as your main lift for this strength workout. So if you've got a heavier kettlebell, maybe start with that one and then add the other ones in. You don't have to deadlift and sumo deadlift in one session. It's just that I'm using a really light kettlebell to do this one. So because I have a barbell, the conventional deadlift was my main compound movement, okay? Right, so got a good selection of leg exercises for you to try out there. We're going to do one last glute exercise before we move on to a bit of core, and that's going to be a hip thrust today. So I'm going to put this over my bench, give me something nice and soft to rest on. I'm going to bring my bar over. Now, I've said to you before that if you don't have a barbell at home, you can do this with a broom handle, okay? So I'm going to pop my legs out in front of me. I'm going to lift my bar up for a moment. I would normally put some sort of protective hip cover on here, but I'm using quite a lightweight for this. So I'm going to have my back on the bench, my feet on the floor. Just going to push against it. Take myself up so that I'm in a comfortable position. There we go, that's probably about right. There we go. Bring myself down to the floor and push all the way up. Down to the floor and push up. Squeeze. I've said this before. Your foot position is so important here because it's going to determine where you feel this exercise working. So if your feet are too close or too far away, you're not going to feel it in your glutes, which is where you want to feel it, okay? So play around, and you could even do this with a kettlebell as well, which actually is easier for the purpose. This bench is a little bit high. I usually use my stepper for doing this, it's just a little bit lower. So I can't bring my bottom all the way to the floor here. So feet planted firmly on the floor, push up, squeeze, really want to feel it here, not in your hamstrings, and back down. Up, and back down. Okay, so that's your hip thrust. Right, we're just going to finish off with some core exercises. Again, 3 sets of your hip thrust. I'm going to do some variations on some planks today. Move my bar out of the way. Okay, conventional plank to begin with, core really tight. Conventional low plank position, you don't want your bottom stuck up in the air, you're going to pivot at the feet. Okay, let's see if I can move the camera down a little bit. There we go, that's better, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to hold that position. You're going to hold that one for a minute. Hold it, keep your bottom nice and low, you don't want it stuck up in the air like this. Squeeze that core. Take your feet a bit wider if you want to. And when you've done a minute, have a little rest. Then we're going to go into another variation of this one. Just going to move it to the side. Okay. This one you're going to still be in a plank position, but you're going to bring one foot out, crunch, and back in. Same on the other side, crunch, and back in. Tough exercise that. Okay, next variation is going to be, excuse me, is going to be a plank with a hip rotation. So again, you're going to be in that plank position, but this time you're going to dip your hips from side to side. Squeeze that core tight, roll it over. Keep that feet position, okay? So that pivot at the foot. And rest, okay? So you're going to go for as many repetitions as you can of that one. So you've got 3 variations of the plank already. We're just going to do one last one. You've got your conventional, the one with the leg movement out to the side with a crunch, the hip rotation, and finally we're going to go for a side plank Hopefully you can see me here. Here we go. So for this one, I'm going to come up like this. My feet are just resting on top of one another. I'm going to take my arm right the way up. And you can either hold it in that position or you can reach underneath you. Right the way up, hold it. So it's going to test your arm strength and your balance. Up. Reach underneath you. All the way up. Okay, when you've done that side, I'm going to move to the other side. Maybe do sort of 5 repetitions on each side. If you find it more comfortable, some people like to rest on their elbows like this. Hold it there. Squeeze underneath. All the way up. And bring it underneath you. All the way up. It's actually a bit easier on your elbows. Okay, so that's your 4th plank variation. And then the last one, you're just going to come up in this position. Now hold it, dip, squeeze. This is really going to work those oblique muscles down the side. And then make sure that you swap sides. Okay. Just going to work one side and then the other. Squeaky mat, sorry about that. Okay, so pretty tough core workout there. You've got 5 different variations of a plank, all of which are going to help you to sculpt and tone that stomach and test those core muscles, okay? Let me know how you get on with today's lower body and core session. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're enjoying my 28 days of fitness as well. Loads for you to be getting on with, and your nutrition as well. If there's any questions you might have, or if there's anything in particular that you want me to answer over the next week, do get in touch with me, drop me a message, let me know, I'd love to help, okay? All the best. See you later.